Well, hello everybody. This is Marty Smith for the MZoneReport.com. If you've ever played the knockout tournaments at Full Tilt Poker, you may have run into some of the characters you're about to see here. Loose Aggressive is the description of just about every player in this knockout tournament, as you will see from some of the plays I'm about to show you here. You do have to enter these tournaments with a certain frame of mind of being a little bit more willing to risk your stack on a strong starting hand or even a strong draw if the pot is big enough. Because most of your opponents are going to be letting their stack ride just as if it were a rebuy tournament. Now, even though the final table payouts are not as strong in a knockout tournament, they are still worth trying to fight for with a tight, aggressive style. Especially when in this format your opponent's attrition rate is significantly higher at the start of a tournament as a result of the donkey factor in these knockout tournaments. You're going to get a taste of that right here. Such were the type of actions that allowed me to double up early in this tournament with an opponent who wanted to go all in with ace-queen. I called him with my ace-king, and I already had top pair. He was virtually drawing dead, thinking I completely missed the flop. But like I said, that is not unusual in these tournaments. And you have to be prepared for those types of opponents and those types of marginal situations which are more acceptable in a $3 knockout tournament, I think. That brought me to this hand basically, where I had changed tables, sat here doing nothing for 10 hands, and as you can see from my stat, it's got zeros across the board. Nobody's paying attention to that. You know, I'm tracking all of the stats here with Tournament Indicator, but obviously nobody else is doing anything remotely close to watching what type of player I am, or anyone else at the table for that matter. So I have aces here in late position. I raised 135. The small blind called, and then an original limper called. So, okay, small blind goes out. He called 135 in the small blind. Just stupid. And now this guy's contemplating his last 825 chips. He just bet pot here. Let's see what he does. Okay, so he calls. Now, I don't think it was a horrible play for him to call with top pair here. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad given the type of competition you have in these knockout tournaments. And obviously he knew nothing about me because he wasn't tracking my style of play. Had he been doing that, it's likely he would know that he would already be behind. That wasn't his worst mistake. His worst mistake, of course, was calling the raise to begin with. And then, you know, sitting there with top pair in a $3 knockout tournament, most people in this tournament are not going to fold. So, I have him dominated, and he has to get lucky. He wouldn't have broke me anyhow, as I had him outstacked. So now we can just move on, and out two players already at 4,600, maybe 15 hands into the tournament, something like that. All right, take a look at my stats here. I'm raising again with my quality hand. Middle position, that is a solid raise. I still got this guy. He's calling virtually everything. Look at 69% VPIP, 23%. Wow, this is crazy, his stats. But I get a re-raise here, which is good. I want the opportunity to isolate and get these dead money guys out of the pot. And I'm up against ace-10. Ace-10. So he's not really looking at my stats at all. But look at what Full Tilt does for this guy. Makes him a hero. So he doubles up. He was at 1,300. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that stack. Everyone was green M zone, yet he called the tightest player at the table with ace-10. He actually re-raised everybody with ace-10. Next, take note of his comment later when he's in a hand. I call a small raise with this, actually, but I don't have to. I just got a limper on the button, hit top pair. It's not exactly a hand that I want to be pushing, though. It's kind of gotten better for me here. He's a rock, so I'm going to call his bet here. Now I got a vote. So now I'm going to value bet. Now, I actually think this is a mistake. I put in a pot bet. Now, if he was any one of these other players, that would have been a good move, but I didn't look closely enough. He's a rock. 6% VPIP. 100% went to showdown winning rate. That's crazy. So I probably should have just bet 100 or 150. But pot bet here, yeah, he's going to fold. I think that was too much against him. Pretty much anybody else at this table, that would have been a good bet. Pay attention to your profiles here. It'll help in situations like that. Now we'll just watch this guy's hand over here where he was commenting before. He's in a big pot here. Came in with called a raise to get in the pot. This other guy folded. Now he's up against this player. Re-raise, ace 10, 5, 6. Huge suck out. Huge suck out. Hand he shouldn't have been in. And wow, monster suck out. Well, I can't say I wasn't getting good hands in this knockout tournament. So I raised to 350 here anyhow, because I had two limpers. So I expected at least one of them to call. And in particular, this player here who was complaining about the suckouts before, and then he just doubled up. So I just want to be up against one of them. Okay, so he does call. All right. That is a pretty good flop. Again, my only worry is a set, but I am not worried about that whatsoever in a knockout tournament. You can't be. You have to let it ride, which is what I'm doing here. I'm shoving it in. Because he's been playing just foolishly. Look at that. He's waiting for a 5. Oh, surprise. Wow. What a horrible player. So, even though he took time out to complain about other players' play and their suckouts, he basically called here with a 4-outer. His complete stack. And Full Tilt handed it to him as well. You basically saw all the hands that I played in this tournament. There was a minor error in one of them, but it didn't cost me much. But I had two major suckouts against this guy and this guy here. I still think I made the right play, even if I thought this guy, could have potentially hit a set. He could have easily also had 10s and jacks, just the way he, called that pre-flop raise. Given the miraculous draw Full Tilt handed him. So that's just one of the worst players you're ever going to come up against. However, they are abundant in the knockout tournaments, and again, you just have to be mentally prepared for them. And sometimes it's frustrating, but that's why you don't play over your bankroll, and that's why you get in ahead with quality hands, because sometimes it works out. And of those times that it does work out, you're going to make the final table. It's going to pay off. Sign up for my free multi-table tournament strategy video series at mzonereport.com, and you can also read the blog there. In the meantime, take care. We'll see you at the tables. Ciao.